Hey, welcome back. So we're getting ready to resume this game. Jason's home from school and we're ready to go. There's only one thing that we really forgot to do, and it's really a semantic, but I wanted to explain it from a rules perspective. And that was, Jason, come on. Yeah, the one thing is when you have kids, I guess you got to be ready for them to be silly. These arrows. Blue is for allies, red is for axis, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put these arrows on your planes that were involved in the movement step, because they were a reminder to you that they have to land. So these planes are not allowed to land in an enemy territory, so any plane that has these arrows has to land back in friendly territory. And they don't do that until the refit and deploy step, which is here. Okay? So that was the key thing we missed. And then the other thing that we screwed up because I didn't read far enough ahead, and somebody on Board Game Geek even helped me. This white thing is not a command cap. What these are for, these white tokens, is they're for if we run out of pieces. So an infantry with a white token on top of it, that would stand for like 3 infantry or 5 infantry. It's in the rule book exactly what it stands for, but you can just make it any unit of measure you want. You can just say all white tokens count as 5. So this would count as that many infantry, and you would put that in your stacks. That way you don't have what Jason just did. I mean, he literally had a stack of all those yellows and he knocked them over, domino style for us. But anyways, that's what these are for. So we definitely led you astray there. Couple more things, and this is stuff that I don't think you know about, Jason. But these ports here indicate that if there was ever a battle in that sea zone, the ports give you what's called a naval advantage. And so in order for you to get that advantage, you have to control the land that port's attached to. So obviously Greater Germany has a port here. And it is possible that both nations have ports for that area, and if they both do, then nobody has an actual advantage. The other thing ports do is there's this thing called getting wounded in this game, and ports automatically heal your wounded units for free. Another thing that is in this game, and actually it could apply to us, is up here in this sea zone where Jason is. You can see there's a yellow ship and a blue ship, and they're attached. Like this yellow ship has a little line that goes to that port, and the blue ship has a line that goes to that port. Those are ports that we can raid. So if I have my navy in that area and that is under the control of the Russians, I can raid these ports, and if I roll the correct dice, I will cause Jason to lose those resources. Yellow would cause him to lose the yellow resource, and the blue would cause him to lose blue. And blue, I believe, is oil, and yellow is the other strategic. But now when we're playing the global game, it gets even crazier, because here you can see there's convoys in the middle of the ocean, and yes, you can go out and attack these convoys. So the allies actually have to keep ships there in those sea zones to defend those convoys, or otherwise we can do the same thing. We could be basically raiding Britain's convoys, and no matter what we roll, all 3 colors are represented, so we would end up causing them to lose those resources. And here you can see there's 3 yellow. I'd have to check, but I think they would lose 3 yellow resources if you raid that particular spot, because since there's 3 yellow ships. Don't hold me to that. I'm guessing a little bit. I just read the rule and I already forgot it, but I'm pretty sure there was something like that. I think the only one that's in this game is, well, actually, the only ones that are in this game are these port ones. So I got one here for my port in Germany, and then Jason has those 2. This is a U.S. convoy, so U.S. is not in the game, so we don't do that. And that's it as far as that goes. Now, what we're going to be doing here is Jason and I are going to be doing battle. And so what we do is we come over here to the battle sheet. So Jason, if you want to the way this works is when you're doing the battle sheet, it shows that the Allied goes on the right, and then the Axis goes on the left. So I'm going to grab mine, Jason, first. So here you can see I have command group 40. Now, you have multiple commands. So here's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put your 2 command groups in 2 spots. Just the command token.
Oh.
But you got the right idea. I'm just taking it a step further. So your command tokens go in 2 spots, and let's make them further apart. Because the idea is that your troops that belong to this command, what you do is you put them in that column. Like just imagine that there's invisible columns. You see what I mean? Okay, and it's not going to be as easy as you just made it, but let me explain it to you, and then you can assign where your troops go. Okay? So here's how you interpret this. Do you have any air units here? So grab your air units as well, bring them over, and then you're going to have command for those that you're putting down as well, right?
It's stuck.
Yeah, I know. They're either too loose or they get too stuck. I think over time they'll probably be a little better, but okay, so he's got that one and that one, and you are supposed to keep them separate still. So you're gonna have like 2 little invisible columns here as well. Okay, so first thing I want to call your attention to is these are land values here, and these circles are air values, okay? The air battle occurs first. Then the land battle will occur after. During an air battle, the only units that can be damaged are air units. During the land battle, the only enemies that can be damaged are land units. However, air units can participate in land battles, and land units can participate in air battles, okay? Now, which ones? That's where this comes in. So if you'll notice here, you got 4 fighters, right? Did I count it right? So you have 4 fighters, and you can basically assign your fighters to be on air-to-air or air-to-ground. If you put them on air-to-ground, you'll see that there's a 3 here, right? So you're going to get to roll 3 dice during, and obviously that makes sense, right? Because I don't have any air units to confront you. So that, of course, is the right choice for you. Now, the other thing you got to understand is these are called stances, and you're picking basically an air stance or a ground stance. And then with your bombers, you're either doing strategic or air-ground bombing. You see how that works? Now, when you take damage, what's going to happen is these units are going to move to here and then to here. And this is the casualty box. This is a wounded box. All wounded units have to be repaired or you lose them at the end of the battle. Like, we got to resolve all the battles and then you do that, okay? All right, now you're going to have the same thing here with your land units. So if your tanks, for example, are defensive, you actually get 2 hit points with your tanks before they get wounded. But if you're on the offensive, you only get 1 hit point before you're wounded, but you get to roll 4 dice instead of 2. So the number of dice you roll goes up if you're on the offense.
Like you roll 1 die and that's how much you need.
No, this is how many dice you roll. Okay, and then I should probably explain how do the dice work. So the way the dice work is if you roll a yellow, you're going to hit an infantry. If you roll blue, you're hitting an artillery. If you roll green, you're hitting the tank.
What if there are no tanks?
Then you don't hit anything.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay, the blacks are wild. That's anything. And then the whites only hit damage units that are here.
Okay.
Okay, now
Can damage units fight back?
damage units aren't dead. And all battles are simultaneous. So even if you roll first and you damage my units, I still get to roll. Okay? All right, next. There's this thing called force advantage. And it's based on the number of types of troops. So for example, you're attacking me with 2 types of troops. A blue and a yellow. Right? I have 3 types. So I have force advantage. And so force advantage is pointing to me. And I put that little arrow there just to indicate that. With force advantage, all of your black and white rolls are actually misses. You don't get to hit with a black and white roll.
Airplanes don't count.
Airplanes don't count. It's only for land types. All right, so the black and white rolls work for me, but you're going to be missing. And it's just to represent that I have a combined arms advantage because I have all 3 unit types and you only have 2 unit types.
Then how am I supposed to hit your wounded units?
Oh, so for example, let's just say, let's do this artillery here. So let's say I hit this artillery once, it moves here. Let's say I hit it a second time, it goes to casualty.
Oh, so you just have to hit blue twice.
Yeah, it's just that the white ones can only hit those.
Yeah.
But in your case, they're going to be misses because I have the force advantage. I trained as a Jedi as a young age. All right. So is this starting to make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing we do is see these little tokens here? Along the side of the board, you can see it goes up to 10. So what we're doing is we're going to count how many dice we're going to get to roll, and then you just put a token there to show, like, for example, you're going to get to roll 10 dice. You see that? Mm-hmm. And then you would just put another one there to show you're rolling 20 dice, etc.
Oh, this game really hates you for attacking.
It doesn't hate you.
One hit for infantry, they're dead.
If you want to go offensive, you can do defensive, even if you're attacking. These stances are both available to you. So here's the difference. So here's your trade-off. You can attack with defensive infantry. You're just only going to get 1 die per infantry. You see? Mm-hmm. You're going to get to roll extra dice if you go on the offensive. And yes, you're allowed to split them up too. You don't have to. You don't have to put them all in one category. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
All right. Is this the other stack over there, and this is this command over here?
2 were.
You got to separate
Here.
the command. Keep this command separate.
And then that.
That's the reason why we went through all the trouble of doing that. Okay. Now, let me explain a few other things. You may have already picked it up, but I want to make sure the viewers do. When you're selecting your artillery stances, artillery that you put up here get to actually fight in the air battle. So even though you have planes,
So do defensive tanks.
if I put my artillery here or my defensive tank here, I'm actually going to get to roll dice against your planes in the air phase.
Is this still the same for airplanes?
Yeah, you can see that it's all the same colors, right?
So that would be nothing. If I get a blue, it
That would be
wouldn't
no hit on your planes.
hit. Okay, so hitting planes are harder.
Well, hitting planes are harder because you only have 1 color.
Yeah.
All right, so you have what? Green, red. There's a yellow plane, isn't there?
No.
Oh, you're right. There's no
only
yellow
2.
planes. So yeah, I guess that would be harder because since there's no yellow planes. But yes, and then of course the black and white still applies to them as well. All right, so when I'm setting up my units here, I could, for example, choose,
Everything on offensive.
or yeah, because even though I'm defensive, I can still choose offensive. So by putting this armor on the defensive, I'm going to get to roll 1 die against your planes. And your planes aren't rolling in that phase. Okay?
Yeah, because it's like anti-air and...
It's anti-air, exactly. This is anti-aircraft. Your planes aren't shooting against my anti-aircraft until we get to the land phase. Then they get to roll 3 dice, and you get to damage me that way, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the air phase. Now, if I had air units up here, these dice would be rolled along with any dice I had for my planes up here. Is that...
Yeah.
Following along? Okay. So then I'm going to do defensive infantry, 2 of them. And then for my artillery, I'm going to do a defensive... Well, see, this is interesting.
That's anti-air.
That's anti-air, which gives me 2 extra dice, but it doesn't give me extra hit points. Whereas the infantry... Oh, so people aren't even able to see. See, the infantry, if you're on offensive, you just die. If you're on defensive, you at least have a wound spot before you die. The artillery both have wound spots. The only thing I'm choosing between here is whether I want 2 anti-aircraft dice and 1 land, or 2 land. That's my choice. I'm going to go that way.
You trying to kill my fighters?
Stop being so mean.
So basically I'm going anti-air and defensive all across the board. And you're allowed to do it as you want. So now add up. So for example, So for the air phase, I'm going to use this side to represent that. I get to roll 3 dice for the air phase, because 2 here and 1 there. And then for the land phase, I'm going to get to roll 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. So I'm going to put this on the 5 to indicate I get to roll 5 dice. Did you calculate how many you get to roll?
I get to roll 6 for air, and then
No, you don't get to roll any for air. These are land rolls. I'm talking the air phase.
oh, well then
You're not rolling any air phase because you don't have any of these white circles.
22.
All right, so is it okay if I just make sure? So this would be 12 right here.
Yeah.
14, 16, 18,
Oh wait, no, I don't think I actually counted 12.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I count 28.
Yeah, okay.
Because these are 3 each, Jason.
Yeah, I didn't count those right.
All right, so this is 3 each. Okay, so we have 10 dice. Per the rules, you roll 10 dice at a time.
Okay.
Okay, but you gotta wait. I'm first.
Can I roll for your anti-air?
If you want to roll for my anti-air, sure, go ahead. All right, so I rolled 1 blue there. Oh, that's right. I needed a green, didn't I?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
See, this is for Andrew, right?
that's for Andrew.
Yeah.
That's your Canadian forces there.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Let me check. Yeah, there's definitely no air advantage thing. Did I roll a black or a white?
No. You rolled a yellow, green, and blue. I mean, no. Yellow, blue, and red. Not green.
A yellow, blue, and red.
Yeah.
And
Those are the
yeah,
dice. Oh, here they are.
yeah, it has to match the enemy color, so you're right. I gotta roll some serious greens if I'm gonna ever hit your air.
Okay.
All right, so now you're rolling 10, right?
Oh, I get to go first?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're the
well, I
attacker.
mean, we both get to simultaneously.
It's
attack,
simultaneous. That's why we put these here, because when we apply the losses, we already know how much you're rolling.
so- Okay, your tank's dead.
All right, so now technically speaking, the rules say you're supposed to do it in order. I don't know if it matters, but it's saying do yellow first. So let's just do the rules and see if it makes a difference. I have no idea.
Okay, so one of your infantry's dead.
Right. So Jason has
Which
2
you could-
yellow hits.
You could technically put both of them on wounded.
No, I'm not allowed to. Per the rules, I must injure one
Wait, can I-
and then kill it.
Can I do this then?
What is that?
It's white. Sorry.
Remember,
White is for-
your whites are misses because you don't have.
Oh yeah, because you're a meanie poo poo head.
Yes.
Oh.
So next up is blue. What blues do you have?
I have 3 blues.
3 blues.
That
Okay.
means your artillery
So
is
that would mean the
destroyed.
artillery is dead. And then
I have 3 greens, which that means your tank is also dead.
yeah, because 1, 2, 3. It actually took 3 hits to get the tank, and then that's it for you, right?
Yeah.
All
But
right.
I get to roll 10 more times.
Well, go ahead and remove your 10 there. Now, technically, I'm supposed to roll now, but I'll let you
I
keep
honestly,
rolling.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think it matters either.
Well, that's 3 yellow.
3
You're out.
yellow, so now my yellow's dead, and that's everybody, right?
Yep, and I can roll your 5 for you.
You're gonna roll my 5 for me?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll let you roll my 5. All right, so 1 yellow, which I get to decide. I don't think it matters, but I do get to decide which one it is, so I will choose... Ooh, I gotta look at this now. You have no greens, so my greens are worthless. I needed those when you had the planes.
Yeah. Oh.
See, I have a white, which means I'm gonna get to do a damage only if it's here. Yeah, so my 1 yellow is gonna be this guy.
No, that's a horrible choice.
And then the blue is going to be this guy, and then the white's going to finish him off.
No,
That's what I'm doing.
that is not the strategic move.
Silly Canadians. All right. So I got slaughtered, in case anybody was doubting that outcome. Jason still has, like, what, You did roll 10 more dice, and then you actually had 8 more after that.
I had
right?
8 more.
Yeah, so being in defensive mode didn't really help me that much. It just made him a little more annoyed. Okay, so it's over.
The fighters, though, those.
So now what we do is, now that's over, these 2 infantry go in the German infantry casualty track. And then this goes here, and this goes there. And then these would tally up across all the battles. Like if we had multiple battles going on this round, that's exactly how that would be. And then you have to put your command units back. And by the way, where are we at? We are in combat operations, which, if you were following this along, we did the battle setup, which was setting everything up. We resolved the air battle stage. And then here you can see roll dice, assign damage in color order. Oh, this is really nice. They actually put the color order on the sheet here, Jason. If we had a strategic bombing raid or a convoy raid, it would be resolved after the air battle. And here's an explanation of black versus white. There is such a thing as a garrison force if you had no units at all in that place. But they don't do battles this way. Garrison force are just roll 2 dice, and if you get 2 matching colors, the Jason would lose a unit.
Okay, this is Soviet Sakhalin Island now.
All right, so so then you would do surface battle, which is what we did, and then we're in the combat debrief stage. So if there was any damage units, we would have to pay for repairs. And all that means is you can pick any one of your resources and pay 1 resource to repair 1 unit. All right, and it tells you right here, 1 resource per repair, free repair if you have a naval advantage with a port. Remove and eliminate units to casualty list, which is what we did. Check for lost transports. There was no Navy thing here. Return command stacks, which is what Jason is doing. He returned them there. He needs to put them back on the world map. And then we have to update the territory status. And so in my case, I don't know why he put this Russian card here. It's Finland. So
What do you mean? That's the Soviet Sakhalin Islands now.
no, it's not. So what I do is I grab this Finland card and I give this to Jason. And
Oh, yeah.
He adds it to his.
Look at that. 2 iron.
Yeah, what was the resources on that, by the way?
2 iron.
2 iron? So that means I'm losing 2 iron in production.
Yeah, lose your iron.
Oh, you don't lose it yet. It's just you get 2 less production.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then we keep going. And so you got to return your units back to the map, Jason. And then your planes are going to have the little arrows on them. I don't know what you...
Those, can I just move them back now?
Okay, I think you can, but technically that's the next phase. I just want to be clear for the people who are listening.
Yeah,
I know you like to cut ahead all the time, but
Yeah.
but per the rules, it's the next phase.
Okay, well, the 13th fighter squadron here is going to go in Leningrad, and then the 15th can go in Bryansk.
All right, so we updated the territory status. So you captured, you get the territory card, and then you get to update the national flag. So there's a big thing here. Grab like a national flag out of there.
Boom.
Okay, put it on the territory you just took.
Oh, okay, there.
So he's got a little Soviet doohickey that he puts there.
But remember,
And-
we got to remember those Canadian divisions.
So he's going to put some Canadian divisions there. Okay. Let's see. So the next thing you do, and this is, by the way, all before you land your planes, and I still don't see any impact to that. I'm just making sure folks understand. So like, for example, my cap was eliminated, so I'm just going to put that back in my little box here. But now you get to assign medals. You get to assign medals to your winning units. So, and then we do stress. because all the battles are over.
So I can give them like an Iron Cross, but Russian.
Sort of. All right. So first thing to explain. Let's say you rolled all your dice and wasn't able to kill all my units, and I wasn't able to kill all of yours. That is what causes it to be an embattled area. The battle actually, the turn ends. We don't keep rolling until there's a winner.
Oh, so if I got through all my 28 dice and I didn't kill all of your units, it would just
be like a battle that's ongoing, and then next round it would continue. Okay, and then that's the situation where you would take your card and flip it over to that red status, because that's what embattled means. So you're basically got a territory that's under a lot of stress. Okay, so obviously though you annihilated me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But that's what you would do. Okay, so now that we're done, we assign medals, and the one thing that I think, yeah, here we go. It does have it on here, which I appreciate. So the loser gains 1 stress per strategic value. So what's the strategic value on Finland? It's 2. Okay, so in the bag here, can you manage the bag for me? Can you grab 2 stress out of there? The stress are going to not look like medals. They're like the square tokens.
Okay.
So, and then that goes on my German stress track, which is where the 6 is. All right, so Jason put 2 stress on because I lost a territory that was worth 2. And this is going to happen every time somebody loses a territory. Okay, next you get to give 1 medal to the country of your choice that was involved in the battle.
Hey.
Which, of course, this is only Russia. But let's say there was combined, countries.
Canada.
You want to give it to Canada. So grab a medal out of the bag and give it to your Canadian friends there. Should be 1 point. No. It goes on the board where the stress is. So you have 1 medal there in the stress area. Actually, what it does is you actually put it over where the medals are. See where the other side, there you go, it goes there. Okay, next, it's not over. Now we calculate stress based on these casualties. So, for example, in your case, you have 4 stress, and then you look at the chart at the top. Can you point to the chart at the top and...
Right here.
Well, yeah, and then what's the value at the top?
It's 2 for infantry.
Right, it's 4, but okay, now go to the stress conversion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How much stress is it? Is it just 0?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 stress was nothing. And then for me, it's 2, 4, 6, 10, correct?
Yeah.
And I got nothing as well. Why are you putting stress on?
Because it doesn't these add up and then...
Okay.
That's what
You
I-
missed my point, so stop and listen.
Oh.
And it'll be nice to explain because we got people also watching. All right, I'm going to make sure the camera's here so everybody can see the numbers a little bit better. Okay, so we're going to just do Jason's situation. He has a 2 and a 2. That's 4, okay? But that's not stress, Jason. That's just you have a casualty value of 4. Then what you do is you go to this box here, and you see that the 4 falls in this category. You earn 0 stress. You didn't get any.
what if then there's enough units?
You have to get 20 stress to get, or 20 casualty value to earn 1 stress. Does that
Just 1?
just 1? Yeah. So you need to lose more units than that. Okay. So in my case, I lost 4 plus 2 is 6. Yeah, my arm's in your way. Sorry. I lost. So let's get Jason's units out of the way. This is what I lost. So this is 4 plus 2 is 6 plus 4 more because that's 2 units. That's 10. Well, my 10 is still in this category, so it's still 0 stress. So I'm sitting on 2 stress. Jason has 0. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck do medals do? You can use them to eliminate stress anytime you want. So, for example, if I had a medal right now, I could remove 1 of my stress. And those units are gone now. You can take them off the board. The stress is calculated per round. We finished our round.
Oh, so
you got no stress for this round. So we're moving on to the next
then
round.
it's gonna be so hard to get a stress.
Well, it's not meant to be super easy. Look, you got giant stacks of troops to lose here. You're gonna get stressed.
No, you're the one that's going to get stressed.
Well,
because
I
my
have.
Canadian divisions are going to be destroying you.
Well, and if you lose territory, look, I got 2 stress from that. So that's more stress than the units
Yeah,
themselves.
I'm going to hold my ground just like the actual Russians did. I'm kidding, they lost lots of ground.
So did that make sense? Was there any questions you had with that?
Well, they've all been answered.
All right, they've all been answered. Okay, so now when we go back to, so this was the player aid for combat, which I actually thought was very helpful. That's a really good player aid. This one, we go back to the phases. So now we're on refit and deploy. So Jason landed his air units, so that's done. And those are the ones with the arrows. Then what we do next is we deploy units. But on the very first turn, we have no units to deploy, because those are what we produce in the production phase.
Oh, you game.
Okay, what's even crazier, if I produce in the production phase, you can actually attack the units that are under production.
Oh, I'm producing them in a territory and you
Yes.
take that territory? Oh.
Well, not even just that, but right here under the combat phase, look, this is what a strategic bombing rate is. You roll 4 dice per bomber, and you actually attack production of units. So you can damage that, and then the convoy raids I already explained. But it's a little more complicated than that. I mean, you can do more than just attack production of units. And yes, if I'm producing units in a territory you just took over, I think I lose those units. I'm pretty darn sure. I can look it up, but it's not a good thing. If that's so, when we go to, so this is a whole section on raids, and here you can see yellow destroys an infantry or submarine under construction, or a yellow resource. Blue destroys the blue units or a blue resource. Green destroys the green units, and then red destroys the red units or a red resource. So you can see that's the dice colors. And then there's a white actually destroys infrastructure, which is the ports and the rails. And black depletes any one resource or any one unit under construction is destroyed. So there's a lot of ways to destroy units under construction with strategic bombing. And then if we go over to the battle debrief, here's where we're, putting out the flag, check for captured units right here. Any units under an industry token. So see these little industry tokens here, Jason? Those are industry tokens. So when you have units in this production phase that you're producing,
Yeah.
they would have those industry tokens. If you take a territory, you capture them, and they'll be deployed under your ownership instead of mine. So you actually get the units that I'm producing.
Well, that's pretty good.
Well, you got to take the territory, right? He just hurt his elbow. He hit his funny bone. It is funny. Now I know why they call it the funny bone. It's funny for me. It's not funny for you. Take that, Canadian. Okay, so I know that's getting a little ahead of ourselves, but the time when these units are deployed is actually right now. We just don't have any because we didn't do any production. So here's where you get to reorganize your command. So you could merge your units or whatever, but there is a limit of 8 units per stack. So you can't go more than 8.
What do you mean? I don't have any units producing.
All right, he's got
What is
stack.
this?
Yeah, he's got a stack there. Okay, and then we do the morale check, which actually we did a lot of. We evaluated the stress. We relieved stress. Now you can, if you get past your stress threshold, that's what causes you to move along that circle there. And it costs 5 metals or civilian goods to go back 1 zone. We haven't seen what it takes to get a civilian good. I think you get those through trade or production. I know it's the other side of the medal, but you have a medal right now, not a civilian good. And I think you get that during the production phase. And so we're done with the morale. So next up is production phase, and we got some chores we got to do. So we have to end the video here. It's a good time. It's 34 minutes. Thanks for watching. Stay awesome. And yes, Jason's winning.
Yeah.